So we go straight to Tom Hunt.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. It's a pleasure to speak in this debate. The pandemic has had it's been immensely challenging, not just for all of the young people in Ipswich, my constituency, at school, but also the teaching staff as well. One way or another, it's been challenging, but no one child's experience has been the same. So I think it's very important that we steer clear of generalisations. But it does seem that those from the most disadvantaged backgrounds have been hit the hardest by what's happened and probably lost out the most. In Ipswich, we did benefit from being a pilot scheme for the holiday food and activities programme. We are also an opportunity area, which we have been for some time. That's been extended. That's good news. It's done some really brilliant work and it's been welcomed by all teaching staff in my constituency. With regards to the government's position, it's quite clear that any interventions they make need to be evidence-based. There needs to be... I, like many of my colleagues who have spoken today, sympathise with the idea of extending the school day, but we need to figure out how we're going to do that. We need to figure out how we're going to do that so we don't place even more burdens and pressure and demands on teaching staff who've had an incredibly difficult pandemic, and also young people who are under pressure to catch up. We need to figure out how we're going to do that. But I would like to see more money on the way when it comes to a new spending review. I have to say, one of the reasons why I, supported the government on the international aid cut from 0.7 to 0.5 was because I would like to see more money going into education. And ultimately, the Labour Party, I don't think, has a clear strategy for how it's going to pay for what it says it wants. When it comes to any key spending decision, it says, yes, more money, same old Labour, absolutely no strategy for how it's going to pay for it. But, Madam Deputy Speaker, I'd like to talk briefly about special educational needs. I know that you know that sorry, I shouldn't use that word here. I apologise for that. I think I'm getting there. But I care very much about special educational needs. I spoke about it in my maiden speech. Not everything is about money when it comes to improving special educational needs, but a lot is about money when it comes to improving special educational needs. And the reality is that there are a huge number of young people in Suffolk who are being failed and let down by the status quo, and I will speak to that. And mistakes couldn't be higher, because one of the things that we're doing at the moment on the Education Select Committee is we've launched an inquiry on prison education, and it is the case that it's thought that 35% of those in prison have got some kind of special need, but actually it's going to be far higher, because we're not actually diagnosing properly every prisoner when they go into the system. So the reality is it could even be higher than 50%. And isn't that shameful? Isn't that something that we should be ashamed of? The fact that many prisoners are individuals who have had special needs but haven't been met. So when we talk about making a justification for ploughing in what I think is a lot more money into special educational needs, we need to explain that to the public, that yes, this is morally the right thing to do, to get the potential out of these individuals. But also, even thinking about it in a kind of hard-headed way, it's going to save us money down the train. Because, and the other thing is, if you are an unconventional thinker, if you are a creative thinker, but you feel like the system is failing you, you are more likely to turn against that very system. If you are in a class, there's nothing more depressing than the look on a young child's eyes who has special educational needs that aren't being met. Their eyes are glazed over and they are not engaged. They are not engaged. There are steps we can take. We can look at teacher training. We can raise awareness of things like autism, dyspraxia, ADHD, because there's a big problem there. And I'm, as a dyspraxic, understanding of dyspraxia, as an article recently said, is in the dark ages. So yes, awareness and teacher training is part of it. But a lot of it is going to have to be money. It's going to have to be investment to ensure that those unconventional creative thinkers get that tailored tuition as much as they possibly can to unlock their potential. The stakes couldn't be higher because, quite frankly, so many are ending up in the criminal justice system, a nuisance to society, costing us money. But this isn't just about making them average achievers. Given the right support and the right funding, young people with special educational needs can weaponise their disability as unconventional creative thinkers, and they can make more of a contribution to society than almost anyone else. So my plea would be that I very much understand the position the government's in, do believe the Labour Party only can score political points. But when it comes to this medium to long-term debate about funding, let's level with the country about how high the stakes are when it comes to how we fund special educational needs. We cannot let down our young people with special needs.